Boys and girls, welcome back. Explode the like button. I mean the subscribe button, and then click the bell icon gently because you don't want to break that. If you break that, you're not going to get notifications. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this review of Kanga Exchange. You need to know this is sponsored and that I am not your financial advisor, and that you can do your own research after this to be absolutely sure that you're making the best possible decision. Yeah, I'm going to run the red frame. It's really important for you to acknowledge that if you need professional help, that you should seek and pay for professional help, right? And I mean a CPA or an attorney, right? If that applies to you, and you'll know if it does. So that said, let's talk about Kanga Exchange. Why am I talking about a centralized exchange? If you watch my channel, then you know I'm pretty bullish on decentralized exchanges, and I think that's a great trend for the cryptocurrency industry. However, there's some things that centralized exchanges do that some decentralized protocols do not do. For example, interchain trades, right? Interledger trades. They sound amazing, and they will be great when they're the norm, right? When they're mainstream, that will be great. Until that happens, centralized exchanges offer liquidity and a very easy way for order books to aggregate a cross-chain swap, so to speak, right? So wallets behind the scenes saying this person wants to trade Bitcoin, which is fundamentally at the protocol level incompatible with Ethereum, and they want to trade their Bitcoin and get Ethereum. That's easy if you're putting it on a centralized ledger and you just increase the security of that service. So centralized exchanges still have their place, and I still use them, just so you know. Even though I talk about decentralized exchanges, I use centralized exchanges as well. And I think there's definitely room for new ones to pop up. So I'm glad that Kanga Exchange fits the bill. But let's go over a few of the basics, right? A few of the, we'll call them the vitals of this project. We'll call it the who, what, where, when, and why of Kanga Exchange. We're also going to learn a little bit of Polish today. So if you ever at any point feel like, oh my gosh, this is too much to handle, I can't get it all to fit in right now, here's your Polish lesson for the day. Nie martw się means don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. So let's jump in with the who. Who created the Kanga Exchange? Well, the folks at Tenset. Now, if you recall, on this channel, I reviewed Tenset, and not just Tenset, but another one of their launchpad projects called MetaHero. It's right here on the Tenset page under their partnerships. If you recall, both Tenset and MetaHero have performed extremely well. Now, I don't want to be vulgar by just talking about price action, but it does bear mentioning that Tenset, MetaHero, and now more recently Kanga Exchange have all performed very well. In fact, Kanga Exchange broke through the 30x performance level and basically just was nearly at the point of hitting 35x, almost at its all-time high, and has since found support, right? Bottom support at 27x over its launch price. So they're performing extremely well. But I bring that up only to illustrate that they have strong fundamentals. And so I think that it's sometimes appropriate to say like, hey, with strong fundamentals, whether it's sooner or later, strong price action will follow. And I think that's been the case for Tenset, for MetaHero, and now for Kanga Exchange. So I'm really excited to talk to you about how Kanga Exchange works. But let's go over the who, right, of Kanga Exchange. Well, yeah, Tenset, MetaHero, that family of professionals, they helped to create the launching pad for Kanga Exchange and the partnerships as well. It might seem like they just barely launched in September of 2021. Not so. They were technically launched in September of 2018, but they've taken all that time to build up the UI and secure the financial and legal framework for the platform to launch strong with the approval of their National Supervising Authority in Finance. And I didn't say the name quite right there. It's technically the National Financial Supervision Authority. It's called the KNF, right, is the acronym in Poland. But they actually have the KNF's blessing for both their Omega stablecoin and for their core business model of being able to trade and have in-person cash on and off ramps at several locations across Poland. And I don't mean like 5 locations. I don't even mean like 50 locations. I mean like well over 100. I think at last count, they've earmarked almost 250 locations where users of their platform can go in person and take out cash, right? The Polish zloty is their cash bill. and they can go and trade for stable coins in person to use on the exchange. And then those stable coins can be traded for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other major market cap cryptocurrencies, and then be traded back and forth without generating a taxable event. And then, as needs be, according to AML laws and AML amounts, they can then go to those same locations and take cash out. That's huge. This is definitely huge. And I think more of us wish that we had that kind of a service available in more of the world. But because of the regulatory clarity and the fact that they've been working so hard on that, Kanga Exchange is able to do that and able to offer those kinds of cash on and off ramps in Poland today. But what are they? A centralized exchange offering fast liquidity for deposits, withdrawals, swaps, and staking rewards, but especially in cash, so back and forth in cash, within the framework and laws of AML, right? So not breaking any laws and not doing anything that's like weird or, or foreign or not appropriate, but obeying every law and regulation, but in a territory where those laws and regulations just kind of match common sense instead of being overly heavy. An IEO launchpad for tokens looking to be launched publicly and distributed fairly, but then of course the offline exchange with physical on and off ramps and an extremely beginner-friendly mobile-first user experience. In my personal testing, I found that you can do almost anything that's available on the website on your phone. And yes, I did extensive testing to make sure it works on de-Googled devices like the mineyour.biz phone. So if you really crave privacy, Kanga Exchange just works. Just downloads and works great on our phones, but of course works on iPhones as well. It's listed in the iTunes store. Let's go to the where. The team is based in Poland, as mentioned before, where the National Financial Supervision Authority, or the KNF, has given them their blessing, implicit approval for the zloty or PLN stablecoin family. And that's the cornerstone of their Omega stablecoin family, is the national currency where they're based. And this makes sense. It's kind of cool. Interestingly, due to a number of political factors, and despite being a member of the EU, Poland is not actually a Euroized country. The zloty, their national currency, still reigns supreme there as cash, right? And as fiat. You could argue it's a bad thing. I mean, and I'm sure somebody in the comments will, so please do leave me a comment if you think this is a bad thing. But I think this is a very good thing because it allows for the Polish financial authorities to come up with common sense AML regulations and be able to sanction businesses like this and have very close oversight and test them to make sure that the business model is sound over years, the way that the Kanga Exchange has with their national authority. So we don't see many other countries doing this, I think in some cases because they're afraid that it might get shut down, but it doesn't make any sense. Bitcoin ATMs exist, so why would an exchange get shut down for doing the same thing directly to their liquidity pool where trades can be made, right? When you think about it long enough, everybody should be doing what Kanga Exchange is doing. So I think it's great that they've been able to do that. Interestingly, it would take at least a 2/3 majority vote from the lower house of parliament in Poland to even start the proceedings to become a Euroized country. So it doesn't look like they're going to become Euroized anytime soon. So the Omega stablecoin in the Polish zloty denomination is actually a very bullish thing for Kanga Exchange, and we should encourage this in more countries that have their own sovereign currency. And yeah, hopefully they can expand outward. Maybe Kanga Exchange will become the exchange that does so in other territories as well. Who knows? So I love that there are very clearly defined AML laws and that the national authority is unafraid to allow for innovation like this in Poland. So they are a licensed exchange with corporate KYC available to institutions that want to register their business entity for trading on the exchange. That's right. So as far as those KYC and AML limitations come into play, because they're obeying every law on Kanga Exchange. As far as those go, something that we don't talk about often enough on this channel is the fact that you can trade cryptocurrencies through your company. Now, I don't mean like a shell corporation. I mean like a company that you have legal rights to manage can register on some exchanges, but not enough make this simple. And I think that my experience with Kanga Exchange is showing that I very much prefer their approach, where it's no nonsense, provide documentation of a corporate entity, and you're off to the races. You can start having that corporate entity's crypto business interests and trades protected on Kanga Exchange to the full extent of the law. So pretty darn cool. As an individual, you do not need to submit KYC documents to set up an account and to trade within certain predefined limits. So that's really cool for the individual user that doesn't want to have to worry about like, hey, can I just swap out $200 worth of Bitcoin, for example? Now, I'm not saying those are the limits, but if that's what you wanted to do was do a quick swap of 200 of this or $400 of that, or, 500 of the other thing, then the limitations won't feel restrictive to you. Where on certain other exchanges that I won't mention, the limits seem ridiculous and arbitrary and painful to use. So hopefully we see a reversal in that trend. But as of right now, Kanga Exchange is being the change that we all want to see in the crypto world. And I'm pretty excited about that, right? So just the right amount of regulation, no more, no less. Let's talk about when. Well, again, Kanga Exchange technically started in 2018, but more recently in 2020, they got that acknowledgement from the National Financial Supervision Authority for the Omega stablecoins. So it took some time to get that secured. It didn't happen overnight. And I promise you that what we're experiencing or seeing right now in September and now October of 2021 is a direct result of that hard work from 2020 through to this point. And it did take that amount of time to get the regulatory framework set up and the financial framework set up so that it seems easy for us to use now. But I'm sure that the executive team has had a lot of long conversations with regulators in their country to make sure that this could happen. So the bottom line question, why? Why do we need this in crypto? Why does Kanga Exchange exist? Well, I think a better question to ask is why not? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like we have a lot of exchanges, centralized exchanges, that make things incredibly difficult to participate in cryptocurrency. It's almost as though they don't want us to. New entrants like Kanga Exchange that are making it very no nonsense are a breath of fresh air to me. If we have to have centralized exchanges because they do some things that decentralized exchanges struggle with, then I want them to look a lot more like Kanga Exchange than like some of the others that I've dealt with in the past. So that's the bird's eye overview. We've gone on about 13 minutes here. Let me show you really briefly their white paper so you can see some of the data points that I've talked about in this overview just briefly here. If you want to skip directly from this video to reading for yourself, well, all of the notes that I'm going off of are available in the description of this video. So you can read their website, you can read their white paper, and they're all available in clear text without affiliate links because I want you to feel comfortable and safe following those links. If you'd like to credit our channel with referring you, there's also an affiliate link in the description as well. And that does help us out. There is an incentive for us to have those links clicked. But if you choose not to, that's fine. So without further ado, let me show you the LitePaper. They talk about all the different sides to it, right? There's the Kanga wallet, which I mentioned I have tested on my phone. So expect to see a review of that on this channel in the coming days and weeks. There's an IEO platform, which, surprise, surprise, literally today, October 3rd, they just launched a blog letting anybody who's wanting to launch a fair launch, fairly distributed token on their platform learn how to do so. So there's a link to that in the description of this video as well if you're a project or if you're a would-be project founder looking for a platform to launch your token. But there's the exchange, fiat to crypto exchange service in person. There's a token payment gateway, which I have not tried just yet because it will require me to KYC my business for that. And so I'm looking forward to doing that for my business because I'd like to try different token payment gateway options. It'd be really, really cool. I've been looking for good payment gateway options for some time. So could be that Kanga Exchange becomes my go-to crypto payment gateway. But more on that as I experiment with it in the future. Withdrawals from ATMs, not just in person. The mobile app, as mentioned before, which is combined with the Kanga wallet. There's staking offered, and then it's profitable, as they mentioned there, in the ambassador program or for referrals. They go through all of this in depth in the white paper, but let me just mention, because I didn't mention before, about staking. We can scroll down to take a look at that part of the LitePaper. First off, they mentioned some limitations there as far as KYC or being able to set up without KYC, the number of offices in Poland as well, and then also mentioned some of the limitations for KYC and AML, which is daily, the amount that can be taken, right, or off-ramped from the exchange, as well as how to access some of the physical in-person locations if you are in Poland. Should mention also that over the next 2 years, they hope to be all across the EU, and then in 3 years, roughly, to have similar functionality across North and South America, Africa, and Oceania, or basically every continent. They've also got instructions for how to set up your own physical exchange. So if you're interested in doing this sort of thing, I believe that right now they are primarily focusing on Poland. They may be open to international partners as well. They'll tell you what you need as far as being able to set up a proper in-person exchange. And proof of stake is offered on their native token, KNG, also on their stablecoin, Omega PLN, or the Omega Zloty, and then Omega Euro, and then USDT. I think that there may be some regulatory stickiness with trying to use the Omega USD stablecoin in this way. And so kudos to the team for using Tether, because right now, Tether works. And again, I know there may be somebody in the comment section saying like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said that Tether works. And I can't believe you just said that are you endorsing Tether? I'm not endorsing one or the other thing, but what I am saying is that Tether is more well understood as far as the US dollar stablecoin market is concerned. So I think it was a really smart move for them to try to stick with something that already exists and has some regulatory clarity, at least some, right? So there's a proof of stake mechanism built into the wallet that allows users to earn if they stake these coins, right? Stake these tokens. I don't know what the current exchange rate or the current staking rate is on all of these, but unless I'm mistaken, the KNG token or their native token currently offers the highest APY, as you would expect, because it's platform native, but then stays locked up for a given amount of time and can be unlocked with relatively short order, and then 7 days later can be removed from the exchange. Why would they ask you to wait 7 days? Well, if you know anything about the crypto scene, and especially about exchanges like this and about proof of stake, people get really flighty, right? People tend to get spooked and then say, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm taking these coins and I'm leaving. Well, having a little bit of a lockup period helps in that way. And we're seeing that with certain, certain longer term staking protocols and certain longer term staking smart contracts where the rewards are much higher. If people wait just a little bit longer, if they can hold out just a little bit longer and have a lower time preference. And the Kanga exchange enforces that as a policy for people who do lock up their coins in a staking mechanism like this. Of course, they reward that as well, right? With the added proof of stake, and they offer auto compounding. So if, let's just say the daily return rate, right, for one of these coins like KNG token is 0.3% every 24 hours. Well, if you flip a switch inside of their wallet, then every 24 hours, that 0.3% is then folded back in to the capital and then compounds for the next 24 hours. So 0.3% of the newer increased amount is then tallied up, and so on and so forth, right? Compounding 0.3% every 24 hours. But at the cost of needing to wait 7 days after it's unstaked to then pull it off the exchange. I think that's a fair trade-off, personally, to have to wait a little bit longer to be rewarded a bit higher. Beats the pants off of having a savings account at an FDIC-insured bank today here in the United States, for sure. That's proof of stake on Kanga Exchange, a way to earn passively, even if you're not actively trading. Instant swaps, of course, allow for very fast liquidity. If you just need to swap, say, Bitcoin for Ethereum, right? The easiest trade, oldest trade in the crypto book, so to speak, or vice versa. That's available. And it's available inside the app if you have liquidity. Looks as simple as this, right? There's Bitcoin for the Tenset token, and just load up what you have and tell them what you want, put in the amount, and then do a little right there, spot swap, right? A little spot purchase of that coin. It's available near instantaneously because it's order book crypto. So pretty darn cool. So is the KNG token needed to use the Kanga exchange? Well, no. That would hamper adoption very fast, and they say so themselves. KNG is a utility token used to settle operations on the exchange. The other services like IO platform tokenization, the payment gateways, loans secured by cryptocurrencies, and then billing systems that allow people to settle in cryptocurrencies. All of those leverage the KNG token as a bit of a utility token for the platform. But that's also in part why they incentivize staking so highly, right? Is to make sure that the ecosystem stays liquid and very, very healthy. And of course, stablecoins. Why are they used? Because they're useful. If I give you €1 and you say, great, I'm going to go buy cryptocurrencies for you. We just created a taxable event, didn't we? But if I give you one stablecoin that's pegged to the euro and you trade me some Bitcoin, we have not made the same mistake, right? And that's why so many exchanges need to operate with stablecoins. But the KNF, again, the Financial Supervision Authority of Poland, has given the legal opinion that this is okay in their jurisdiction. Bare minimum for the fiat currency of Poland and for the euro, but also available for USD on the exchange. The app is easy to use, and we'll do a review of that very, very soon. I wanted to talk to you about the referral incentive. Are you a YouTuber or influencer with a great following? I think my following is pretty great. I mean, you guys aren't that bad. Or if you're just well connected, you can use the referrals to be able to get up to 20% of the commission earned per user. To be very, very clear, yes, I do have a referral link down in the description, and that does benefit me indirectly if you do follow it, but not to the extent of 20%. It's on the lower end because I'm just starting. So they say 10 to 20% there. And of course, that's not unique to me. Once you are signed up, you can do the same thing as well. It's just a question of being signed up. So that is available. Any new user can set up a referral identity and then post their own links to their friends and family. So it's not an opportunity that's only available to people on YouTube. Just know that. And then they go over the tokenomics. Again, a breakdown of where all of the coins have gone to date, including company reserves for future activities like marketing, strategic partners, and providing liquidity on the platform. Now, just to be very clear, some people get very nervous when they see things like this. An exchange does not necessarily require this, but an exchange that has funding broken down this way is more likely to exist a long time from now without having to take private capital and just sell out to large banks. We've seen in many, many instances that projects that don't get properly funded up front struggle ongoing, and projects that do get proper funding up front are able to continue developing for years. So I don't get spooked when I see this. As long as the exchange works and it has the liquidity that I want when I want it, I kind of don't care how they were funded as long as it was legal. That's my opinion on the matter. They go over the team again, and you can see right here, I've taken a look at all of these people on LinkedIn. Well, how? Because they're all listed there as well. So the Kanga Exchange team does appear on LinkedIn, and it's reflected in their LitePaper as well. All these people, they're real. I can tell you that. As far as the potential for growth, they talk about it, but let me interject my remarks. I think they've done a phenomenal job from 2018 up to this point, and without trying to tell you what to think, I think they've done well from 2018 up to this point, but I'd love to know your take on it. Have you looked at Kanga Exchange? Check the link below so you can do your own research or get started today. But let me know in the comments section, what do you think of Kanga Exchange? What do you think of the Omega stablecoin and the Kanga team getting the official legal opinion from their national authority that this was okay? Stay tuned for more videos like this where I go over the mobile app and the user experience of the Kanga Exchange on this channel. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Be sure to check out mineyour.biz, where you can sign up for our email newsletter, where we're still ramping up content, but you will occasionally receive specials for flash sales and all kinds of other deals that we have going on the site. You can also check out our services page, where we offer consulting to projects that need it. You can pick up the Freedom Phone, which respects your privacy. You can pay for it in crypto and have it shipped to you anonymously, as well as getting merchandise that also is paid for with crypto. That's right, we practice what we preach, including, well, a Flux swag page. That's right. It's a dedicated page just for the team over at Flux Network, because we love them that much. Thanks for watching to the end. Thanks for being subscribed. You know I love your face. Be sure to stay private and mind your biz.